Not many things can replace that exhilarating feeling of scoring a touchdown. So naturally, players often get super wild when it comes to celebrating them. But sometimes, these celebrations get way too out of hand. Like this one player who used a ball as a wipe. Or this other pro who used the flip a hand sign of opponents before even reaching the end zone. Without further ado, here are some of the most famously illegal celebrations in the NFL. Subscribe for more of the best of the Football Freak Show. Number 10, Terrell Owens. Kicking off our list is a celebration banned because it allegedly promoted another sport while using a prop. Even with a 100-yard field and huge goalposts, some NFL players forget they're not on a basketball court.
Another high snap that Romo has to jump up for, throws down the middle, T.O., number 3.
In 2007, Terrell Owens caught a long pass and celebrated by dunking the football over the goalpost crossbar as if he was disrespecting Kobe. Did he suffer a concussion earlier in the game? Apparently not. That was just his way of celebrating his touchdown, but the NFL didn't find it funny. Pretending the goalpost is a rim and the football is a basketball, well, they had to make him pay. So they fined him $7,500 for using the game equipment as props. But peep that dunk though. Terrell might have spent his career playing the wrong sport. But if you're not convinced that the NFL officials hate anything to do with basketball, the next celebration they banned will. Number 9, Terrell Pryor. No news that LeBron James almost joined the NFL instead of the NBA. While we missed out on his signature chalk toss or silencer on the gridiron, Terrell Pryor brought it to life.
Are you and Durant playing?
Yeah, we playing. It's a game, but we ain't playing though, if you understand. Catch my drift.
Scoring his first ever receiving touchdown, Pryor couldn't resist unleashing the silencer.
They get on Blackman, and the Browns are within an extra point of tying the game.
The NFL, ever the spoil sport, deemed it excessive and unsportsmanlike and fined him $9,115. But the penalty backfired spectacularly, sparking a trend among players and even earning shout-outs from LeBron himself. The Pryor silencer celebration isn't the only time an NFL player tried to imitate LeBron James. Number 8, Joe Burrow. This NFL player had his celebration banned before he even joined the NFL. That's right, I'm talking about Joe Burrow. He wanted to hit the cold head in cigar cloud pose that LeBron did before he would get drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals in 2020. Joe Burrow was a national champion with the LSU Tigers. And when they won, he lit up a cigar only to be told he was breaking the rules. Apparently, smoking isn't allowed in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. But you know what they say about winners? They're stubborn as can be. And the 2020 number 1 draft pick is no exception. Because when he became a Bengal, he celebrated a playoff victory in the same fashion. Well, at least that band celebration wasn't as cringe as the next one. Number 7, Antonio Brown. Everybody likes a good dance move as a celebratory routine. But the way this player was dancing, you might have forgotten that he was on a football field and not on the stage of an exotic dance club. In the game between the Steelers and Redskins on Monday Night Football, Antonio Brown scored a touchdown and proceeded to celebrate in the most zesty way possible. Before we had Ice Spice, there was Antonio Brown. He thought the crowd was feeling him. They may have, but the NFL wasn't. They penalized him by fining him $9,115 for his erratic display. While Brown may have been shaking his buns, an NFL player before him was trying to show some. Number 6, Randy Moss. For this next band celebration, we have to go back to over 20 years ago in 2004 when the rivalry between the Vikings and the Packers was pretty feisty. Randy Moss was getting more heat than most of his teammates, even though he wasn't playing.
Locker rooms and all that stuff. It's probably about 10 white asses sitting over there over the hill. They got all their pants down. It's nothing but white moons just all lined up. So we're on the bus. We're talking about, oh my God, we're sitting there laughing.
The Packers fans had their bums out when their bus came in. There was a marching band to taunt them, and if you ask me, that's a good reason to get back at a team.
Their horn department, they got spelled Carl in their horns. Where are you at, Moss?
So when they met him again in the playoffs, Moss was playing this time, and he was out for revenge. In the fourth quarter, when a pass from a deep found Moss for the touchdown, he knew he had to get a lick back. His teammates came around him to celebrate, but he nudged them out of the way so he could do a pants-down gesture to celebrate and taunt Packers fans.
Culpepper, Moss. Randy Moss is in for a touchdown.
Oh, Al Harris playing off. Bit up on the route, and Randy Moss, without even really being able to run, as he shoots the moon to the fans here in Green Bay.
That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss, and it's unfortunate that we had that on our air live. That is disgusting by Randy Moss.
The NFL didn't appreciate his lack of decency and fined him over $30,000. Revenge may be a dish best served cold, but sometimes it's an expensive one. Number 5, Isaiah Crowell. And if anyone knows a thing or two about revenge celebrations, it's Isaiah Crowell. When Crowell was let go by the Browns, it was the Jets who gave him a shot at redemption after signing him as a free agent in 2018. You can imagine just how bad he felt for the Browns doing him dirty like that. So when the Jets faced the Browns later the same year, Crowell went in with a vendetta against his former franchise. And when he scored a touchdown, he had already planned on being disrespectful and rude with his celebration.
Isaiah Crowell. He's got a couple.
If wiping his behind with the ball wasn't bad enough, he sent the ball flying into where the Browns fans were seated. The Browns fans weren't the only disappointed ones. Crowell's mom was at the game and didn't appreciate her son's antics. Anyway, I'm sure the folks in Cleveland got his message loud and clear, but you'll never believe what Crowell got in return. He did get a fine for $13,369, but he also got an endorsement deal from Dude Wipes. A wipe to remember sounds like a good slogan. A harsh jab at the Browns at the same time. This celebration won't be forgotten anytime soon, just like Michael Thomas, who waited 15 years to do this. Number 4, Michael Thomas. This next touchdown celebration will give Gen X Saints fans deja vu. Back in 2003, Joe Horn celebrated a touchdown by getting a flip phone from under the goalpost. You have to admit, that's a cold celebration. He's probably calling an ambulance for the defenders trying to stop him. But the celebration was quite hard to forget, because not only was he fined for it, but 15 years later, another player would do the exact same celebration. When Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas scored a touchdown, he decided to celebrate in a way that only real Saints fans could relate. He also whipped out a flip phone to pay homage to Joe Horn. He was fined $30,000 for it, but I guess it was worth giving the Saints fans a feeling of nostalgia. It only makes sense that in the future a Saints wide receiver pulls out a flip phone to pay tribute to Thomas. Let's just hope flip phones are still a thing by then. Number 3, Tyreek Hill. Michael Thomas may have been flipping phones after reaching the end zone, but this player was flipping a hand sign that the NFL fined him for, given how provocative it was. Tyreek Hill is known for outrunning defenders and making him look like NPCs. It's become so easy for him that he makes a peace sign as he runs past them.
Cuts it upfield. He might be gone. He is. Kansas City takes the lead with a minute to go from 6.
Now going deep to the far side, caught. It's Hill. Touchdown. 69 yards.
Kind of makes sense that somebody with that amount of speed would display that level of cockiness too. And the NFL didn't appreciate his braggadocious display, so they fined him $10,000 for it. What a way to say, we get it. Be fast. You don't gotta rub it in people's faces. But that's not the most disrespectful celebration to ever get banned. That honor might be reserved for Odell Beckham Jr. Number 2, Odell Beckham Jr. September 2019, when the New York Giants faced the Philadelphia Eagles, all eyes were on Odell Beckham Jr. because you could always be sure of him scoring a touchdown, but never sure of how he would celebrate. He has an arsenal of dance moves he's displayed in the past, but when he scored a touchdown in this game, he let his animal instincts kick in. Literally.
Like conduct, offense number 13. Score counts.
So the Giants have their second touchdown of the season, their first of the day.
Beckham got down on all fours and raised his left leg to mimic a dog who's found a fire hydrant. What makes this celebration even more disrespectful is the fact that not only did the Giants beat the Eagles, but they did so in front of their home fans. So this celebration ought to ruffle a few feathers. And not just for the Eagles, but the NFL as well. In fact, they were mad enough to fine Odell $12,154 for this. Beckham's lucky he's got deep pockets, just like the final boss of provocative celebrations. Number 1, Chad Johnson. Before there was Odell Beckham and his crazy theatrics, there was Chad Johnson. He had some of the craziest celebrations of all time. He even set aside money for fines before the season began. What celebration didn't he do during his playing career? Propose to a cheerleader, salsa dance in the end zone, play golf with the football. There really isn't much this man hasn't done. He could play a game of bingo trying to figure out what crazy celebration he might do next. But his biggest fine came when he celebrated by wearing a blazer that had Future Hall of Fame written on it. The jacket may have been worth $300 at best, but the fine was worth $30,000. Considering how much fun he seemed to have to do all these celebrations, you could argue that they were worth the fines. And there you have it, 10 NFL celebrations that were made illegal. Which celebrations deserved to be banned and which ones didn't? Were there any NFL celebrations that were worth getting fined for? Let us know in the comments section. And thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to avoid any unsportsmanlike conduct call.